MEA 100 will be presenting on the volcano known as Huaynaputina, which erupted in 1600 within Peru. On the right over here, we see an image of Huaynaputina, and we'll get into what exactly happened during the eruption. So Huaynaputina, of course, erupted in 1600. Over here, you can see the rough location of where Huaynaputina is within Peru, roughly South Peru, in which the eruption itself lasted a little over 2 weeks, about 18 days. Huaynaputina is a stratovolcano containing 3 vents, and those 3 vents were the ports of which the magma erupted out of. And this eruption itself is very significant, mainly for its climate, its impact on our modern day climate and the climate during the 18th century. What actually occurred during the event, the eruption was theorized to be triggered by pressure within the volcano's magma system. Magma eventually rose until it ascended through the 3 vents until it erupted out of the surface. In addition to the eruption, there were several earthquakes that also caused magma to move upwards towards the surface. Magma, in addition to ash, were the primary resources that were extruded during this eruption. On the right over here, I have placed a little example of how the rising magma can push plates of earth to the sides and eventually cause things such as earthquakes and flows of magma. The volcano's eruption did manage to cause a very large impact on the physical surface. In addition to ash covering as deep as 100 meters, it also traveled as far as 120 kilometers into the Pacific Ocean. Ash, when mixed with water, creates this muddy-like tar called, I believe it's called lahar, which is what scientists have found in the ocean and what they've used to determine this 120 kilometer measurement. In addition to that eruption, to the magma flow, one of the main devastating effects of this eruption is the large amount of sulfur that was dumped into the atmosphere. This caused sulfuric acid droplets to occur in the air. And before I get to the effects of that, on the right over here, we see a modern day image of scientists who have dug into the earth until they've reached a point to where they didn't reach any deposit of ash, and they found a roughly 6-foot deposit of ash near the eruption site. By far, the biggest impacts are the societal impacts of the eruption. There were 2 cities in particular, forgive my pronunciation, Arequipa and Macunga. The majority of this impact resulted in villages being burned down, significant crop loss and famine. It's estimated that about 1,500 people were killed from this eruption, in addition to the devastating economic effect that it told on nearby cities in Peru. In addition to that, the sulfur deposits were found not to just affect South America, but also have a more global impact, the effects of which can be seen in Russia, France, Germany, China, and Japan. One source of evidence for this is that we find sulfur deposits within tree ring evidence of that time. On the right over here, we have a 19th century engraving of the Russian 1601 famine. It's believed that the famine, which was mainly due to a lack of crops, was caused by the effects of the eruption and the large amount of sulfur deposits. Thank you for listening. These are a quick link to the images that I've used, any information from the actual presentation can be found in the description below.